Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we have a very special guest with us, Debarati. This video is going to be about another mock interview for a new product design case. And we have chosen a very interesting product, which is a staycation app, an app that lets you book staycations, which are COVID friendly or rather COVID safe. So before we start, Debarati, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's always fun to jump on such kind of setup, and I really enjoy it. Introduce myself in my words. So, hi, I'm Debarati. Currently, I am working as a product manager in a company called Khoros. Have a more than 5 years of experience, not as a product manager, but I transitioned to product manager from an analytics background. So I was a product analyst, and then with time, I gradually moved into the product management.
We are all very excited to have you. And yeah, we will also have some questions in the end for Debarati. As she said, she has transitioned from product analytics background to a product management background, which a lot of PM aspirants, they ask us. So we'll have like one summary session from Debarati on that also. Let's start. Welcome to the interview, Debarati. Can you please do a new product design case for us for an app that lets you book staycations, which also keep COVID guidelines in check?
Okay. So, thank you for the question. So, I would like to clarify some of the questions which came to my mind just now. But the questions are pretty based on the personas which the staycation will be used, the persona. So, as the app and the statement suggest, it is like COVID-friendly stays for users. So now I would like to understand that are we restricting the user group for, say, for example, is it for couples, family, or individuals like backpackers or someone like the user group which we are targeting? So am I free to assume, or it is something like you would like to put some constraint on the user with to whom I will be more focusing?
Okay, so great question. We can assume that this is currently only for India because obviously the COVID impact or the kind of changes that have come into the way people book vacations or go to vacations also depends a lot on the countries, and COVID scenario across countries is very different. So let's stick to India as of now. About the customer group, I would like you to chart out your own personas and then pick the persona that you think will be the most beneficial for this kind of a product.
Yeah, sure. So since it's a staycation and and it should be like COVID friendly. When I say COVID friendly, it's like following all safety protocols of COVID.
Yes.
I am segregating user into two different groups. One is family and second is friends. So in friends, I am including colleagues, business trip, and personal trip as well. In family, I am only focusing on the personal kind of trip, like no corporate trip. So there are two kind of stay bookings happen for a stay. Now, if I am jumping to the design, I would like to have some assumption based on user behavior here. When it comes to personal travel, it is generally people prefer long weekends or say example weekends or long weekends, kind of short stays, long stays kind of thing. So I would like to focus, assuming since this is COVID thing and people are not very much fond of staying outside of their home, let's assume that the staycation is for short stays, not long stays. Say when I say short stays, it is maybe maximum 2 to 3 days.
Okay.
So now how we can ensure that our users are having a better, you can say, experience during the COVID. So when we will launch a app called Staycation, it will have two different part of users. One will be the demand side who will be booking. Second will be the hotel partners or the owner partners who will be onboarded as a part of the guide stays to the customers.
Right.
So we have two kind of users here. So even before going to the demand side, I would like to explore the owner side and the homestay side, considering that the properties or the hotels or any kind of homes we are onboarding, are they COVID certified? So let's say introducing a tab called COVID certified. Now the owners, the properties, we would like the app will have a check. So when a team from staycation will go at the time of onboarding, it will have a separate check for COVID certification. Say for example, how many times it is being sanitized in a week. Second thing, what is the COVID real-time COVID numbers in a radius of say 5 kilometers displaying. Third, it will have like, are the owners or the people staying, the staff staying here, they are marked as safe in Arogya Setu. These are the three features I would like to include in the design from the owner's perspective while onboarding the properties. This after that, in say for example, someone traveling from a different state in India versus traveling in the same state in India, this is something which I am trying to, which I will like group in the every user persona. Which the two user persona I told you, family and friends. Friends can be couple. Again, while booking, the user will see the details of the property, which we have the real time details, which at the time of onboarding we have given to them, and based on that we'll give them a COVID certified or COVID certified not properties in the staycation. We will only once the property is COVID certified, then only we will make that property live and user will be able to see that. Now while booking, people who are coming from a state, they have to self declare their health thing, like are they having anything. I would also like to give them an option to upload their COVID negative report if they have already. I would not like to make it mandatory, but it would be, I would like to add it because some states have regulations that if you're coming from a different state, you have to show a COVID negative report in the airport. So something like that I would like to introduce at the time of booking. Then which zone, and from Arogya Setu, I would like to do some kind of integration which tells me that I am safe. Like I am coming from a zone which is safe, not only the state but the zone, while creating a booking, and some kind of a self-declaration that I have not contacted any COVID kind of thing or something. Also, I am carrying my own mask, and I pledge to use my mask in common areas, some kind of self-declaration form while booking the property. I would like to include these details. So these are the basic features which I would like to include in the staycation app, where the user will have to go through for getting the best COVID certified stay during this COVID-19 crazy time. If I break this thing into two different personas, say for example, for couples and friends, we can do is that currently we can add as many as guests in some other app. But in staycation, for every guest, we need to have some authentication. Say for example, if I'm bringing my family, the family also needs to do self-declaration. So I would like to, adding guests should have an invite link where my family members or anyone with whom which I am, the guest with whom I am accompanying, should also do the same process to avail that booking, that I am not traveling, I am not COVID affected area, I am safe zone, I don't have cough, cold or any kind of fever from the last 15 days. So the invite link feature is something which I would like to introduce for the user. Are my first version of, you can say, staycation app, which I would like to introduce. And so basically the design I would like to focus more on quality supply than getting the demand, that my supply would be limited. Say for example, it should be COVID certified, and based on, so that our users get the best experience of staying in a totally safe environment or totally safe complex. Plus we should also take care of our staffs which are there in our properties. So it's a win-win situation for both of them. Hence I would like to include so many rules and regulations before booking an apartment or any kind of stay.
Sure. So thanks a lot for that detailed explanation. And I really appreciate the way you put focus on the COVID part of things, right? But then today we have competition. Even they have introduced these kind of COVID stamps, so to speak. What do we do to ensure that we are standing out from them, or our certifications, or let's say our guests are somehow vouching for the genuineness or the execution, the correct, rightful execution of what we have promised? So would you like to also have some features or some kind of product specs on those lines?
So 2 or 3 things which I could just say right now is that if we can give a data to the users that out of so many users booked, no one has been COVID positive till now. There is 0 COVID positive cases after the lockdown happening in opened, and we are open for you can say 2 days. And second thing is that all out, say how many times the staffs are going through a COVID testing.
Okay.
So the information that the number of staffs they have and all are COVID negative, and their current temperatures are like that from last 3 days. So real time, the statistics of vital statistics of COVID, say for example, what is their oxygen meter, what is their body temperature, when they did their last COVID test, and what was the result. If these things, if we can show to the users and on real time basis, I think we can vouch that they can be assured of visibility we are showing. They can be assured that staycation is something, they are not just making false promises and claiming that they are COVID certified, but actually the data and the reports are speaking. So that is one thing from a owner's point of view I can think of. From user's point of view also, so this is one feature which I would like to introduce for the users. We say that no, we are taking that thing seriously. A person booking, but the guest details is also currently being taken care, and invite link has been sent to make the entry of the details. Say, for example, I am not in COVID-19 affected area. I have not been contacted with any COVID-19 patients. All the details. On integrating our Arogya Setu with both owners and users, because I want both of them to know that the person who is coming is not from a COVID affected area, and also the user who is going, he or she should also know that it is a safe area. That is a COVID filter with all these details is a must have, where they know that which are the properties which are being sanitized properly after every checkout, or what is the frequency they are being sanitized. Every details should be marked, and there should be something called COVID certification star. It can be 1 star, it can be 2 star, it can be 5 star, something like that. It is there. And also the testimonials, like let user after staying give us a feedback of how COVID friendly it was. So if he gave 5 star, we tell him to write about why he given 5 star. So we can categorize the COVID 5 star into all the 5 things, which, say for example, does the Arogya Setu app was there, like the details of Arogya Setu, COVID reports were there for every staff, the temperatures details were given, sanitization report is whatever it is promised, is it the how hygiene it was. So if they give that thing, that would be a great thing to say that staycation properties are COVID 5 star. When I say COVID 5 star, like COVID hygiene maintained 5 star. These two things will also be a very great value from the competition.
Sure. And how would you look at the pricing? Because staycations will be longer than your normal tenure, right? So would you sort of a bundled model, or would you look at normal rates which the other players offer?
The pricing of staycation, considering of so many hygiene we are taking, I will not like the user to pay a lot more than the other competition, because I think hygiene is the very basic thing. This should not be chargeable from a user's point of view. I would like to put a standard. This is the standard of things, hygiene practices, and this is the new normal world. We cannot charge a user for his safety. That is something which I believe. So pricing, I would like to compare based on, say for example, seasons, whatever we used to do earlier, nothing related to COVID protocol. I would like via the traditional pricing. Say for example, when I was in OYO, we used to do pricing based on seasons, pricing based on, you can say, owners. They wanted to give some discount. Sometimes we as a company used to give some discount. Sometimes the third party where it is the property has been listed, say booking.com or something, they used to give their own coupons. And based on the amenities, the pricings were you can say structured. Say for example, a pool facing room will have a little bit of higher price than a non-pool facing room in the same state. So all the basic pricing categories or pricing principles, I would like to touch the same, because I believe that hygiene in this new world should be free and not chargeable.
Sure. Great. Anything else that you'd like to add on?
I would like to add for the metrics after we release this product as a design. Like, so for example, when I would launch the first version, I would like to check the most 3 important metrics around this design. First, the occupancy rate. How good is the occupancy rate in my 5 or 6 properties which I have onboarded. Even before that, I would like to see number of properties onboarded because of all these strict rules. I understand most of the owners may not be comfortable with going through so many hurdles, like so many of data, so many of testing, like what is the supply strength? Then comes the number of occupancy or the number of bookings that is being done. And third, I would like to see the customer ratings, like the experience. How is the stakes? So these are the 3 metrics which I would like to follow before making advanced decisions on how the staycation app should be going forward.
Thank you so much, Debarati. It was a very insightful interview, and I do want to call this out to all the viewers. The product design cases tend to become very vast and very complex if you don't pick and choose the points that you want to talk about. There could be a lot more things that could have been talked about in this framework. I just like to add on, for example, you can dissect a bit more on the company's vision and the company that is trying to venture into this new product, which can probably give you certain features and certain strategies that you should or should not pick up as a PM. The second point would be to only devise your product for a specific persona. So here, Debarati actually, she focused more on the persona from a COVID inclination point of view. Because I had already given her a caveat that it has to be COVID friendly, she did not dive deeper into whether it's a student, whether it's an employee like us who's going out to go on a workation and not staycation, whether it's a family who just wants to go to the mountains and relax. So these kind of attributes would come into picture. So the point I'm trying to make is that personas need not always be profiles based on demographics or gender or certain attributes of a person. It could be what a customer wants. That could also segmentize the customer into persona. The third aspect that probably you can talk a lot more about in product design is the actual design, right? So the actual experience that a user would get on the app. So you can also go into wireframing, you can go into certain specifics of what kind of buttons, what kind of funnels would you like to keep. And of course, metrics she did touch upon. So you can also detail out out the metrics, as you can also probably, for example, occupancy rate can be detailed more into occupancy rate during a certain month or a certain season. And these kind of analytics will help you a lot in going to the next version of your MVP or even finding the correct product market fit. So those are the points that I wanted to add. So Debarati, now going to the next segment, just want to know how you approached transitioning into product management from product analytics, right? How was your journey? What steps did you take? What preparation did you do? What helped you? What did not help you? We'd like to know that.
Yeah, sure. So I was hired as a business analyst in a company. It was a MNC. So I was a traditional BA, not a data BA kind of thing. So the BAs who write user scenarios and coordinate with stakeholders and then report to the product owner, such kind of BAs.
Sure.
Not a data oriented BA I was during my first 2 years. But exposure actually helped me in liking the stakeholder management part, to be very honest. The first experience. So I as a BA had to talk with multiple stakeholders and used to own a small feature sets, like not an entire module, but say for example, small features change the color of this button. But it is, when you say it's a small thing, but when you dig deep, it has multiple implications, right? So I learned this kind of small, like how to dig deep into a small problem statement in my first instance. But like my inspiration was the product manager with whom I was working as a BA. So I took inspiration from him because I saw that anyone in the company whatever question they have in the product, he is the person, he always used to have the answer. At any point of time, you ask him, like say for example, I switched it off, how it will behave. He will be the person who will be knowing the exact answer at any point of time. And that is something which impressed me like anything, that how he can say so much about a product. It's like he's owning that product. I felt that is the best example of owning the product. You who knows in and out of the product. But I lacked one thing, which is the analytics exposure. So during 2016 and 17, the startup industry in Bangalore was booming. It was in big, and I wanted to work in the startup industry to learn from scratch, like how you build a product from zero and then enter to the market. So this is something which I got to know from some of my friends who were working in startups. Like I had a friend who was working in Freecharge. So he used to tell me, not as a product manager, but he was working as a developer. So he used to tell me the kind of momentum they have, the kind of expectation or the results they get to see it's very exciting. So I used to get fascinated that I also want to work in a startup. So that's how I was looking for a startup. And the main reason was that I wanted a more user research driven kind of thing. Like here it was more stakeholder driven, but I wanted to understand the user more based on my conversations with so many my colleagues. And then there was Uber, then there was Swiggy, so many new apps were coming. So I was very fascinated with such kind of apps, like wow, they're solving so good problems. So then I actually went to a supply chain logistics company as a product analyst, and there I learned how to get insights from data. So I was working with a product manager, so he gave me an entire mobile app to improve based on data. So I had two kind of verticals there. So first was like he gave me to find out insights on myself. So he didn't help me in finding out what he was exactly looking for. He just gave me a problem statement of increase the adoption. So that's the beauty of working in startups. Like you have to find your own way. So it's like I was middle of a sea, and it pushed me to talk to so many people, not only to the database and not only to the stakeholders, but to the ground users, like who were the delivery boys and something like that. So it was really, really a very, very, you can say, exponential learning graph for me. I never expected that it will be such a interesting learning from me. I was a person who used to be a basic SQL query writer kind of a person, but this exposure pushed me to learn SQL at an intermediate level within 7 days. That was the, you can say, dynamic nature of the startups, which I got to know first. And there also, I had that one dream that I should be the in and out person of a product. And maybe the designation may be product manager or anything. For me, designation was never a concern. For me, it's like that I want to be that person who knows his or her product in and out. So during that, my stint in Loadshare, the mobile app which they have given me, I was the person who is to know in and out of that product. Like if I introduce this feature, how it will behave, where I should make changes. Everyone in the company used to call me for any kind of support of this mobile app. So that was my first tick mark, like bucket list of thing happened. Like, okay, I know my product in and out. The switch happened because I wanted, since the supply chain has a very limited data set, you only talk with shipments. The users are limited. You cannot have a 1 lakh of delivery guys. You will only have a 10,000 or 15,000, maximum 20,000. I wanted a broader users persona so that I can understand the product management field much better with large data sets. So that's the reason I wanted to switch into demand side. Only reason was to challenge myself and get more into the product field. So that's how I cracked Oyo. Then first Daily Ninja. Daily Ninja was a great company, great experience, but unfortunately they had some funding crunch and they were looking for acquired from Big Basket. Then Oyo happened, and Oyo also this COVID came. Otherwise, it was a challenging company to grow yourself. And then Khoros also it happened because of the same passion of understanding my customer and knowing the product in and out. So that is my story of transitioning from analytics to product manager. For me, product manager is like who owns the product, and he knows everything about the product.
That is a very wonderful story, and I actually share this insight with a lot of people that it's not that just because product managers now the role has become very famous and it is like the new hot role that people want to be in, which is understandable, which is fine. But one should understand the nuances of coming into it, which is that you cannot say that you can say that I don't know it at this point, but you have to find an answer just after that call gets over, right? And you should be on top of the data, of the features, of what have you shipped, what have you not shipped. And it is the most challenging task. It is not an easy task to know so many things and to remember so many things and to plan your meetings or plan your conversations in such a way that you are able to answer the questions that that particular engineer has or that particular PMM has, right? So you are like a dictionary for your product is how I term it. And Debarati has also emphasized that her career crack into product management was also through this particular trait that she developed, which is to understand the customer pain points and to understand why a product is behaving the way it is with its own customers. So developing this kind of knack or this kind of a trait would definitely help you to approach product management better. And yeah, our mock interviews are always there to help you. So we are going to come up with many more such mock interviews and conversations with real world product managers. If you like this video, then please subscribe to our channel and follow our PM School page on LinkedIn. I'll also leave a link to my and Debarati's profiles in the description box, so you can check that out and you can reach out to us for guidance if you will. We hope you stay safe. Debarati, thank you so much for coming, and we wish you all the best.
Thank you so much. Wish you all the best.